back to the most professional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Merkel, here with my host today, Aaron. Go and say hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Alright, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this video, we'll be talking about the new number one team in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. Or at least that's somewhat some people are calling them these days. Aaron, is that your sentiment?
Yeah, I think it might be a little closer than some people might say after the head-to-head with the 49ers, but I would say at this point they've proven that they're probably the number one team in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, after putting that shellacking down on the 49ers this past week, beat them 33-19. The defense coming away with 5 interceptions, I believe, 4 on Brock Purdy and 1 on Sam Darnold in the end zone in garbage time. Lamar Jackson finished the game 23 for 35 with 252 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns, along with 45 yards on the ground. And I guess the big narrative coming out of this game, one with Brock Purdy playing as bad as he did, and 2 with Lamar Jackson beating the best team in the NFL going into this week. The big narrative is kind of Lamar Jackson might be the front runner for MVP. Is that kind of what you think right now, Aaron?
I mean, yeah, probably, since it's pretty much a quarterback exclusive award. I mean, there are other guys. CMC, you brought up Garrett as well, so there are other guys definitely deserving of it, but it's pretty much turned into a QB award, and he's been the best QB this season.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea of the numbers we're looking at with Lamar Jackson, 3,357 passing yards, 19 passing touchdowns, 7 interceptions. But of course, his dual threat ability is the big reason he's one of the best in the league. So he's, along with those passing numbers, also got 786 rushing yards with 5 rushing touchdowns, along with 5 fumbles, though. So, you know, what is that? 12 turnovers total to 24 total touchdowns. I mean, a 2-to-1 touchdown to turnover ratio. Pretty pedestrian, along with pedestrian passing numbers. Fairly decent rushing stats for a quarterback, of course. But do you really think that, even though it is kind of designated a quarterback award, I mean, nothing doesn't take away anything from Lamar Jackson, because if you look at the other quarterbacks in the league, yeah, I mean, he's probably the best. Obviously, it's a really bad year for quarterbacks as far as statistics goes. If there's ever a year for someone else in another position to win it, I feel like it's this year. But that just seems to be a non-starter when you bring it up. Why is that? I don't understand. Because, like, Christian McCaffrey, incredible season. Tyreek Hill, incredible season. Myles Garrett, the only reason that Browns team was in playoff contention before they got Joe Flacco, who turned back the clock to 2012. If there's any year for a position not named a quarterback to win it, why not this year?
Hey, I'm all for it. You know, I like to see, some change in who wins awards, but it's the game flows through the quarterback. They get paid the most. It's the most important position on the field, and so if he's, having a good season, and he's the quarterback of the best team, I feel like that they're gonna give it to him no matter what, despite other people's deservingness.
Fair enough. I mean, not only does he lead his team in passing yards, also leads the team in rushing yards, because obviously running backs have just been getting obliterated in that Baltimore backfield all year as far as injuries go, unfortunately. Zay Flowers been incredible. Rookie season with over 750 receiving yards already with 4 touchdowns. OBJ coming to life here down the stretch as he's coming off of injury. Um, it kind of feels like the stars are aligning for Baltimore this year. Um, Far and away the best team in the AFC, at least consistency wise, you could say. Um, Dolphins probably the second, but you never know if they're going to show up against a legitimate team outside of Dallas this past week. Um, is it kind of now or never for Baltimore? Like, I feel like if they don't win this season, there's it's going to be hard for them to win going forward because you got to assume the Chiefs shore up that receiving core for Mahomes. Joe Burrow is coming back for the Bengals, you would hope. Maybe the Broncos get a superstar quarterback in the offseason somehow to replace Russell Wilson. And they already have a decent defense. The AFC is just going to continue to get tougher year in and year out. It feels like now or never for Baltimore, in my opinion. But what do you think?
I don't know if you can ever really say now or never. I mean, people always discount Lamar Jackson, but he's been good despite having next to no receiver help for his entire career. So they get Zay Flowers and OBJ, bring them in, and he's like a brand new quarterback. They're, like you said, by far and away the best team in the AFC. I do think, obviously, it'll get harder next year with, people healing up, teams getting better, replacing missing pieces. This is probably their easiest path to the Super Bowl, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily now or never.
Okay. Yeah, here down the stretch, last 2 games of the regular season, they got the Dolphins this weekend and then the Steelers in Week 18. Have to assume they win both those 2 games. Well, I guess maybe not because the Dolphins have been good this year, so maybe they can surprise some people and prove that they maybe deserve the title as AFC's best team and potentially steal that 1 seed even from the Ravens. And then the Steelers coming to life this week under Mason Rudolph, so maybe, who knows, with that team. They just seem to defy expectations regardless of what those expectations are. You expect them to be great, they're bad. You expect them to be terrible, they're great. I don't understand. I don't know what the Steelers are anymore. So yeah, that may end up being a tough game too. I mean, they already lost to them once this season, so we'll just have to wait and see. Do you expect the Ravens to win out and get that number 1 seed in the AFC?
I don't know. I could see that Dolphins game being pretty tough, but I would expect them to win that. AFC North matchups are always a shit show. Any team can beat any team in that division. So, but I would expect them to win that game as well, and make a deep playoff run.
Any concern as a Chiefs fan having to go to Baltimore in the playoffs if we make it that far?
Of course. If we make it that far, that's the biggest.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I guess if we do, assuming the Chiefs get the 3 seed, and the 2 seed wins in the first round, we're going to Baltimore second round, which honestly may be the best time to play them if we're being honest, because I think they're going to be a little rusty. Like they were last time they got the 1 seed, and are prone to dropping that home playoff game. But I feel like if they do end up winning that game and you end up having to meet them in the AFC Championship game when they're all lubed up and ready to go, I don't know if I want to play that Ravens team after they got a little bit of a momentum going their way. So yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I think that this is their best opportunity to win a Super Bowl for sure. And if Lamar Jackson can win his second MVP and his first Super Bowl, he's only 1 Super Bowl behind Patrick Mahomes on the whole hierarchy here. And all of a sudden, we need to stop talking about Joe Burrow and Josh Allen and Justin Herbert. This is the real, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning and Tom Brady. Peyton Manning and Tom Brady matchup here may be Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes. I don't think a lot of people saw that coming. Maybe Baltimore fans did. Maybe a few Chiefs fans did, and maybe even a few third party people. But I definitely don't think it was on the majority of NFL fans bingo cards. So, I guess before we go, that'll be my last question I bring up to you is if Lamar Jackson does end up the season with the MVP and the Super Bowl, is he kind of like that new number two? Or maybe even he's the number one. Maybe even surpasses Mahomes with how bad Mahomes has been this year.
Well, if they win the Super Bowl, I think you got to say that he's the best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, he played better than Mahomes this season, so maybe he passes him for this season. I don't think it's necessarily a stretch to say that, but I will always say that Mahomes is probably the most talented and gifted quarterback that we've ever seen. I mean, he's up there with Aaron Rodgers on the Mount Rushmore. Nothing against Lamar Jackson, but he doesn't necessarily have the arm talent that those two do.
Right.
What makes him really special is his ability to run the ball, which is a completely different style of play. But I think if he wins the MVP and a Super Bowl, then sure, I'm fine with naming him the best quarterback in the NFL.
All right. Well, in case you have anything else, then I guess I'll do it here for this episode of Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Merkel, here with my coach today, Aaron. Go ahead and say bye, Aaron.
Bye.
All right, please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. Other than that, deuces.